Good afternoon or good evening, everyone, in this lovely Monday afternoon. I'm Sean Rucker. I'm the owner of SportBike Chic. And today we have our next person in our Get to Know series, and that's going to be Dawn White Chocolate Phillips. So first, before we get started into our interview tonight, we're going to let Jessica tell us about Buds.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I am Jessica Vinson. I am currently the treasurer for the Buds Foundation. BUD stands for Bikers United to Defend Driving Safely. And we're all about safe driving. Number one top priority is safety. We also help fallen injured riders. We also assist and help the family of fallen riders.
Excellent. And White Chocolate, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am White Chocolate. That's what I'm known in the motorcycle community as. I am a mother. I am a grandmother of 9 grandbabies. I am a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm a wife. I am a certified health and life coach. I am an author, a published author, actually, as of last year. I am a liaison for the Get Yonder team. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with the Get Yonder page. Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else? I'm a mentor to a few of the ladies in the motorcycle community. And last but not least, I'm an avid motorcycle rider. I love to ride my motorcycle.
Awesome. I love it. It sounds like you can have quite the a little bit of time on your hands, huh?
Just a little bit.
But the first question, of course, what do you bring to the table?
So I think that I bring, I would say authenticity. With me, it's, what you see is what you get. Mm-hmm. I think that I am, the same in person as I am, online. Encouragement to through mentorship. And I guess what I mean by that is, we have to understand that everybody's at their own level in mm-hmm. this riding community. And, we have to be willing to meet people where they're at. Mm-hmm. And that is a key factor in the ability to have somebody grow. I'm very compassionate about helping others. And through that, I try to do a lot of educating. I share my personal life experiences. I've learned a lot along the way, good, bad, and indifferent. So, I have a compassion to actually teach people the easier way instead of the harder way. And my husband and I actually have a page or a group. If you don't ride, you don't know. Mm-hmm. We try to go live once a week, and on the page we share just knowledge. He's been in the game for 30 plus years. I've been riding for 10 years. So I've learned a lot along the way. And so I love to share. I think, sharing is caring, so to speak. And I think that, the more you share, the better off. I think that you'll help people when you share. I would say that I'm a pretty positive person for the most part. So I think that I bring, positive vibes. I do a lot of support in the community. I try to support female riders. A lot of the female rides, I try to be in attendance as much as I possibly can. So I think I try to be involved as much as I can, and I try to be as well-rounded as I can so that I can bring certain things to the table that would actually benefit others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome. So you mentioned a little bit about your writing experience and you're being an author. What inspired you to share that information in such a public way?
For my book?
Yeah, tell us about your book.
Okay. So my book is entitled Your Voice, Your Choice,
nice.
Free from Past Pain. I am a domestic violence survivor. Um, my domestic violence experience started from childhood and carried through to my adulthood. Writing the book was the missing piece to the puzzle, I guess. It was the last piece that was needed in the healing process for me. And my life is basically an open book, so to speak, and it allowed me to share my truth. And so the book not only goes through the things that I entailed, but it offers tips such as, signs to look for, and just encouraging women to know who they are and to know their worth, and to just understand that, you're worth so much more than how we're treated sometimes. And it took me a long time to realize what my worth was, and that I actually had a purpose. And so I guess it's kind of like it's a book that can help women draw that conclusion a lot sooner than I did, because I didn't really have anybody that could give me the advice that I needed as I was going through that situation. So I think it's really important that, anybody that's been through that experience should be willing to help others try to get out of the same situation. So that's kind of the importance of my book. It allowed me to kind of be free from my past experience. So it was a very rewarding experience when I wrote the book.
Right. How long did that take you to write?
Wow. So it was incredible. It was during the government shutdown. And so I kept hearing this little voice in my head that said, write the book, write the book. And I said, you know what? I don't have nothing better to do but write a book. And it literally was written in about a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it just, once I started typing, it just flowed right out. And it was just so natural. And it was such a release for me. And so, yeah, it took about a week. It was very fast.
Awesome. And where can we find it?
It's actually on Amazon.
Okay.
And I have copies. I had bought a bunch of copies because I was actually kind of writing, like autographing. I don't like to say autographing, but I was signing the books for those that wanted a signed copy. So anybody can reach out to me as well if they want a copy of the book.
Awesome. And it sounds like that was a pretty interesting thing to go through. So I'm glad you're actually coming on the other side and sharing that experience with other people, for sure. Yeah.
It's not an easy task, but I think it's needed in order to really truly free yourself. It was needed, at least for me, anyways.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. That is awesome. So I know you're married now. Share with us the joys of riding with your spouse, or if you ride alone, the joys of riding alone, if you do ride alone.
Okay, so I do both.
Okay.
My husband and I, he's my road dog. That's what I refer to him as, my road dog. I love my husband. He's very supportive of every endeavor that I choose to get myself involved with. But we had actually completed our 48 states together. We didn't start that journey together, but to actually end it together was amazing. It was an amazing experience. We rode cross country together. Back in 2016, we did a cross country ride. And, during that process, it really allowed us to get to know each other a little bit better because,
yeah,
when you're on the road with, your significant other for that period of time and those long days that you put in, those hours, but it was a beautiful experience. And it's something that, I will always cherish. He's his distance riding days are getting smaller and smaller and fewer and far between due to his health. He's got health issues, and so I do ride solo. I've done a lot of solo trips. I don't mind riding solo. There was a point in my life where I had a fear of riding solo simply because when I was in my accident in 2015, I was hit from behind in North Carolina on 95. And so I had a fear of somebody else hitting me from behind. So for a little while, I didn't ride by myself. But one thing that I appreciate about my husband is I lead all of our rides. He allows me to ride. He calls himself the hobo. And so he's always got my back. And that's one thing that I appreciate about him is I can say he's always got my back. So riding with him is wonderful. I set the pace, I set the tone, I set the route, and we just ride, and it works for us.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. So what's the furthest that you and your husband has rode together and furthest that you rode by yourself?
Okay. So the furthest that my husband and I rode together was California. And we got to do a lot of sightseeing in between. We spent 10 days in the Grand Canyon. And so we saw a lot of the country together. For me, I think my longest solo ride to date is, I guess, Mississippi, I think. Last year, I did a solo ride last October to support a domestic violence event that another female biker, she had put on an event. And so I said it was kind of important for me to be there and to support her in that endeavor. And so it was kind of cool because the local news was there. And I actually got, I got interviewed and I was actually on the local news. But yeah, so I think Mississippi was my longest solo ride so far to date.
Okay. Awesome.
Excellent. So you mentioned that it sounds like you do a lot of things, obviously, to support women. How did your mentorship of women get started?
So a couple of years ago, a young lady had reached out to me. My husband and I were on a ride. We were going to Atlanta there was an Atlanta female ride, actually. And along the way, my husband experienced some dehydration issues. And so I had posted a video to talk about the importance of hydration, listening to your body and things of that nature. And a young lady had hit me on my inbox and we talked back and forth for a little bit. And then she had expressed an interest that she wanted me to mentor her. And I hadn't really considered myself to be a mentor, not officially anyways. So I agreed to do so. She was a fairly new rider. She had primarily just rode locally with her husband, and her husband has limitations as well, and she wanted to go further. And so I figured, what the heck? I considered it, an honor to have somebody ask me to do that, and so she lives like about 45 minutes from me. And so we just kind of developed this relationship with each other. And she actually rode down to Florida with me last year. And she did an iron butt with me last year as well. So, and then she just did another iron butt with me about a month ago. So I'm so impressed with her skill set. She actually traded in her bike for a different bike within the last year. And I could just see the growth in her, and it just makes me so happy. It's like, it makes your heart smile when you see ladies that really have that same passion, but they're not exactly sure how to go about getting to a certain level. And so I love that ability to just kind of mold them into, being that rider that they want to be. And then Portia Taylor had put out on her page that she was looking for mentors. So I went ahead and signed up to be a mentor. And another young lady had reached out to me, and she lives about 30 minutes from me. She's in Virginia. And so we rode together a couple of times as well. So it's just really cool, to kind of, again, like I said, meet people where they're at, help them understand where they're at and own where they're at. And then if they want to grow, help them step out of that comfort zone. I don't force people to step out of their comfort zone because they have to be ready. Because if they're not ready, then there's a tendency for them to get hurt. So yeah, I'm here, and I talk to them about rain gear and cold weather gear and what to pack. what are essentials and things of that nature. So that's where kind of the education piece comes in as well.
Absolutely. So what do you find are some of the struggles of some of the ladies that you ride with sometimes, or your mentor?
I think that one thing that they struggle when they're new riders is they don't have a lot of confidence in their ability to do long distance, you know, and being on the bike for an 8-hour period of time. So I always try to use an example with them. So I used one example and I said, okay, you went out and you rode all day long with your husband to different spots, and you know, and you stopped at different areas, but you rode all day long. And what you don't realize is you already accomplished that. You know, you already rode the 8 hours. It was just kind of spread out in increments. And I said, you know, that's right there is a good thing. And so I said, you know, you can do it, you know. And so it's sometimes it's a mind over matter thing. And even with me, I have to get myself mentally prepared to do a distance ride. You know, I get excited the night before, but you also have to have that mental talk with yourself, you know, to really prepare yourself. If you're going to be on the road for 800 miles a day for 3 or 4 days, right, it's not as easy as just hopping on that bike and just going. You know, you really got to be prepared, you know, mentally, physically, and financially. So.
Absolutely. So when you are on the road by yourself, you know, I know we talked about like insurance and life insurance, motorcycle insurance previously, especially with Jen. She mentioned, you know, the importance of it to her. What does that mean to you?
So for me, all insurance is important, but I want to focus a little bit on the motorcycle insurance in particular. Again, going back to my accident, the young lady that hit me didn't have adequate coverage as far as her insurance company was concerned. So it was barely enough to pay for my motorcycle. My motorcycle was about 5 months old at the time, so it was pretty much brand new. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, I don't think that I realized just how important it is to, you know, have the gap insurance, have, you know, an adequate amount of uninsured motorist insurance, up those numbers. It may seem irrelevant at the time, and it may seem expensive at the time when you do the policy, but at the end of the day, it will benefit in the long run, because, you know, when you do have an accident that you're not at fault at, you think that everything is going to be covered, but then you can be in a situation like I was where it wasn't covered. You know, my bike was covered, but my medical expenses were not. And, you know, I was flown by helicopter to a trauma center, and, you know, the physical therapy for 4 months and things of that nature, you know, that was all out of pocket expenses due to a lack of insurance. So it's really, really important to understand your insurance policies. Mm-hmm. And to, you know, increase it if you have to. You know, it may cost a little bit more, but it's definitely worth the investment.
Absolutely. Agree.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
So on your journeys, you often express it's not about a destination. Destination is rather it's about the journey. What does that mean?
So I think sometimes as riders, we tend to focus on just snagging state signs, which is great. You know, it's a great accomplishment to stop and take a picture with the state sign and to say, you know, I've crossed, you know, X amount of state sign, you know, state lines, excuse me. But right. I think what a lot of people don't realize is there's so much out there. Now, me being from the East Coast, there's some stuff to see, but it's nothing like being out on the West Coast. It's beautiful out there, and you know, there's so much to see. You know, there's so much beauty in this earth. You know, going to the national parks and just picking those certain destinations where you know you're gonna be able to see a lot of the sights and just take it all in. So I think that's what I mean, that, you know, it's about the journey, because anybody can reach a certain destination. And sometimes we're in such a hurry to get somewhere that we miss everything in between, between point A and your destination. So, enjoy the moments, take it all in. And that's what I try to do.
Right. What's the most important lesson that you learned while you were riding?
Most important lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, just being prepared, making sure that people can track where you're at and have the ability to be able to get in contact with you. So I think my lesson, and again, I keep reverting back to my accident, there was a lot of things that I could have done differently. That taught me, to keep my head on a swivel, to constantly look in my mirrors. I wasn't doing that kind of stuff before. I was a fairly new rider. I'm not going to say I was inexperienced, but I was fairly new and, still learning. And so, I don't know, had I been looking in my mirrors, maybe I could have saw her come up behind me, but I don't know that. So, I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is just being aware of your surroundings and just like literally you've got to keep your head on a swivel when you're on that bike.
Right. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
So every year, I know Buds, we do fundraisers for underprivileged youth. Now you decided in lieu of your annual charity ride to the Inn that was scheduled for this month, if I'm not mistaken, you still decided to raise the money through a fundraiser for the Children's Inn at NIH. Tell us about that.
Yes. So about 7 years ago, I got invited to, at that time, the event was called Kilometers for Kids. And I wasn't really sure what it was about. But at the time I was an employee of the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. So I had an individual who reached out to me. And I guess I was one of the chosen like 4 or 5 people to come to this event. And so I said, okay. And so I went to the event and I learned that it was a benefit to help the families of the NIH Children's Inn. And I'll give you a little bit about a background about the Children's Inn. But I went ahead and I participated. And the next year, they just dropped the ball. They decided they weren't going to do the event anymore. So I talked to my husband and I said, well, let's pick it up. I said, this is very meaningful. I said, it's beneficial. It's a way that we can give back. So we just decided to just take it on. And so every year we try to build it up a little bit more. We try to have a little bit more participation. I think next year we're going to maybe try to get some sponsors. But the NIH Children's Inn is an inn for the families of children who are terminally ill. So they come to the inn, and the inn it's on the campus of NIH, and they want to provide a home-like environment for the families as the kids go through medical treatment at the clinical center. And so what we try to do, because the inn is run on donations strictly, all of the employees are volunteers, so they volunteer all their time. And so what we try to do is we try to raise as much money as we can that goes directly to the inn. I don't see it, I don't touch it. It goes right to the inn on the fundraiser. And it helps. It helps with them to provide educational material for the kids. The kids' ages range from, infants up to, I think, the age of, it's either 16 or 18. And so there's a wide range. And so they have to make sure that they have like activities and things like that available, to the kids. And then like food and, things of that nature. So it's definitely a worthy cause. It's something that we're going to, be involved with for a very long time. It's near and dear to both my husband and I's hearts. And so this year in particular, there's a company out there that said that they would match dollar for dollar for all funds that were received up to $100,000. And so I created a fundraiser on Facebook. And I think the last time I checked, we were about $1,800. So, that's like $3,600, which is far better than what we did last year. I think last year we did about 1,000. So we just want to make sure that it's bigger and better every year. And just try to help out as much as we can. Sometimes we'll volunteer to either go cook dinner or go cook a breakfast for the families. And so you're able to go there and prepare the food in one of their kitchens and serve the food. So they have some restrictions because some of the kids, have allergies and things of that nature. But it's just a very rewarding experience, just to it's almost heartbreaking as well. You go there and you get around these kids and, you know that they're sick. And, if you have kids of your own, like, you can't even imagine what these parents go through on a regular daily basis. So, I think every little bit helps. And so, I'm definitely a giver and somebody that likes to help out, when I can.
So for the people here on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, if they want to donate, how can they donate?
So there's a fundraiser page that I can actually put on my personal page. And I can't right now off the top of my head, I can't think of what I called it. But I can put the information on my personal page on Facebook.
Okay.
It actually is good through August 31st. So the fundraiser will be open for about another week. And then I think I had a goal of $2,500. So I'm kind of hoping that we can reach that goal within the next week or so. If not, I'm perfectly happy with, what we've raised so far. So.
Awesome. Yeah. All right.
So it sounds like you actually have been doing such an amazing thing, with your experience that you've been with writing, with your charities, with your book, and your sharing information. What on earth do you have for your future? What else is planned?
So retirement from my full-time job. I do see a retirement date in the next 6 years, so I'm kind of excited about that. I've got 32 years in the government right now, so I'm just ready for that next chapter. I actually recently became a managing director for the Curator Project.
Okay.
It's brand new. They're actually launching this week. So I actually have a Facebook page set up and I've invited a lot of people. It's for women. And it's nice because it offers a platform. It's like a networking platform. And so it will give women the ability to network with other women who are business owners, kind of to promote your business, and to kind of kick it, like give it a kickstart, so to speak. And so I ran across this on Facebook and I said, that's interesting. I think that would be fun, to get involved in that. So I'm looking forward to it because I have my own business as a health and a life coach. And it's really, really difficult to obtain clientele. And, I tried to like, as soon as I got my certification, I was ready to go. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to get all these clients, and I got nothing. And so the air just deflated, but it's hard sometimes to advertise and promote, yourself. And so just having the ability to help women in that aspect, I'm excited and I'm looking forward to that because I didn't have that opportunity when I was trying to be gung-ho about my business. But I think that once I retire, it will allow me some additional free time because I don't have a lot of free time right now, but it'll allow me to focus more on really becoming the health and life coach that I want to be. Because I can dedicate more time. Right now, I can only dedicate a portion of time to that because I'm still a full-time employee.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at. And, spending time with my grandbabies, I'm still going to ride. I'm always going to ride. But, I guess, the personal side of me, it's like the older I get, the more focused I am on the short term, the short range window of what am I going to do after I retire? So that's been like my focus right now.
No, that's completely understandable. Oh my goodness. I'm counting on my fingers and toes, like how much time I have left before I can do the same.
Yes, yes. And you have to prepare financially for that as well. And so, I mean, the pandemic has been a bad thing, but it's been a good thing for me as well, because it's really allowed me to reevaluate my priorities and really put things into perspective. And so, just getting prepared financially, paying things off and things of that nature, that's a big step for me. So, I want to be able to retire and, buy that, what is it called? The toy hauler, that my husband wants to buy and just travel, just go, so yeah.
That's awesome. The one thing that you mentioned before was your Facebook page now, or you have Facebook pages. Can you tell us about that one? I think there was one that was actually really, really, I'm sorry, several that are interesting, but there's one in particular about paying it forward.
Yes, I forgot about that. So this year, I decided that I was going to start off 2020 with a random act of kindness challenge, so to speak. And so I created a Facebook group, and I went ahead and just put it out there. And I said, it's something positive. It's something uplifting. It's, something that we should be doing as human beings. Just be kind. And so I challenged everybody to at least once a month do something nice for somebody, pay it forward. And so the group actually, it grew. I think there's like 700 and some members in the group.
Nice.
And people will share. And the purpose of it was not to boast or, stick your chest out and say, hey, look what I'm doing. The purpose of the group was to encourage other people to give back. And just be kind to one another and do something nice, like I'll give an example, a couple of people had posted where, they paid for somebody's groceries, or they went to McDonald's and they decided to pay for the person behind them. It doesn't even have to be that. It's just, you could walk up to somebody and tell them to have a good day, but there's certain things that I was trying to do in order to give back and do the random act of kindness. One time we gave away some of the road ID gift cards. We gave away 2. We had people submit their names for the camel packs. So I try to make the things that we give away like relevant and kind of biker related, so that people can actually utilize and benefit from the things, that we kind of say, hey, if you want your name in the hat for this, we're going to pick 2 names. And so, yeah, that's, I just kind of had that idea because I just feel like there's a lot of negativity in this world, and we just need to focus more on the positivity, and just be a little nicer to one another.
I can certainly understand that one. And I applaud you for actually taking that on, because anyone that's able to kind of share that information or share those experiences, and heck, even promote that other people are able to do the same. I mean, that's a good day, for someone to randomly come up to you and heck, even just a few nice words at times, it's exactly what you needed when you least expect it. So
yeah, and you just never know when somebody just needs that one word of encouragement. And so some people will post inspirational, posts or quotes, and it's uplifting, and we need more of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. So you touched on this a little bit. But I'm interested in what does uniting and fellowshipping with other women in the motorcycle community mean to you?
So I think that we as women, we tend to be a little on the judgmental side. And I think with fellowshipping, my definition of the importance of fellowshipping is it allows you to really get to know somebody on a one-on-one level. You know, you're able to have a conversation with the person. You're able to sit down and have a meal with that person, or you know, go for a ride around the corner, or whatever the case may be. And so I think that in order for us as females to come together and kind of be united, I think fellowshipping is very important, and really taking the time to get to know somebody on a personal level, instead of kind of what you see on Facebook, or you know, what you've heard, you know, or whatever the case is. You know, get to know that individual, and so I think that's really important. I think that allows women to kind of come together and builds that cohesiveness. And I think as women, you know, we've already got our share of difficulties in our personal lives, in our work lives, just everywhere. And, you know, so I think that adding other things into the mixture unnecessarily, just you know, it kind of adds to the issues that we already kind of have presented to us on a regular basis. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as fellowshipping. Just support one another. You know, when a female has an event, go to the event. You know, you'd be surprised how wonderfully put together these events are. I do try to attend a lot of the female rides, because I feel I don't do a lot of the like annuals and the parties and things of that nature. I like to go and I like to support women who have events that where a charity, you know, is a benefit, where a percentage of the proceeds will go towards a particular charity, and things of that nature. And again, you know, if it has a ride, you know, I'm always excited about that. So that's kind of where my head is as far as fellowshipping, because then you can really just get to know somebody for who they really are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what do you see going forward, as in your legacy? What do you want to leave behind?
So I think for me, I think I want to be known as a strong woman, as a woman who was able to conquer her past and not let it dictate her future. I think that I want to be remembered as someone who genuinely cared about others' well-being. And I do a lot of that. I think that there has to be a certain balance in everybody's life. And so I just want to be that person who made a difference in other people's lives. You know, and I always say that I don't want to be popular. I want to be purposeful. And there's a huge difference, you know, in the two. You know, and I don't do things to be popular. I really want to make sure that what I'm doing is purposeful. And I think that's what I want to be known as, somebody that actually made a difference in other people's lives, whether it's through my riding experiences, if maybe I inspire somebody to, you know, attain their goals just by sharing my experiences. So that's why I think it's kind of important. Like, I do put a lot of stuff on Facebook. And it's not to say, hey, look at me. But I think that maybe I do it, well, actually, because pictures are awesome, like they're memories. And so my husband he would always like, you're always taking those pictures. But I'm like, yeah, because they last a lifetime. You know, you can't get those back. Yes. So that's kind of what I want my legacy to be. Just somebody that was just positive by nature, and just always wanting to give back and just make a difference. Because you know, coming from a person who struggled for a lot of years, you know, just being a single parent, and I came from a place, a dark place, and you know, I've been very blessed within the last probably 6 years of my life. And so I just want to return I want to return that, I guess, out to the community because, you know, it hasn't always been easy for me. And I think some people think that, you know, I have it good. I do. I do have it good, you know, and I love the fact that I have it good, but I haven't always been in this place. So, you know, I think that's another side that, you know, people, if they took the time to talk to me, they would understand that it hasn't always been this way. Although I have no complaints right now. I'm living and loving life to the fullest degree. So
Awesome. So I know you wrote your book before. How'd you like writing?
how did I like writing?
Yeah. Do I see another book in your future or no?
I think that's a possibility. I love to write.
Okay.
I think that it just kind of comes second nature to me. I don't do well speaking. I get very nervous, but you give me a computer and a keyboard, it just flows out of me. And so I already have a couple ideas in mind for another book. So when I have time and things hopefully return to some normalcy, you know, where the pandemic is concerned, I think that I may try to focus my efforts on pushing out another book.
I love it. Jessica, did you have any other questions you wanted to ask?
No, I do not have any other questions.
Awesome.
It's been a joy speaking with you. I want a book. I just know I want a book.
I'll make sure you get a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Jessica, could you tell us about our the upcoming event with Buds?
Yes. September 10th. September 10th is going to be a virtual event. It's going to be hosted by Scooter Mitchell and his wife, Nunu Mitchell. It's going to be a panel of some great people. Miss White Chocolate will be up there. We have Two Guns up there. Oh gosh, y'all don't get on me. Don't get on me because I forgot all the names. Don't get on me. But it will be September 10th at 7 p.m. It's going to be on YouTube Live. So make sure you all tune in to get some great information, some great stories, and just some great fellowshipping with some fellow bikers.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us tonight. And thank you, White Chocolate. You may not think so, but I think you did an awesome job, whether you're nervous or not. So continue on to get work with your work. I look forward to reading your book because I'm sure that's going to be one of the next purchases I make.
Yep.
So thank you so much.
Well,
And
thank you.
absolutely. So again, SportBike Chic, we have motorcycle apparel for women. You can find us at www.sportbikechic.com. And you can also look up Buds at budsfoundation.org. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.